Hey, good evening, everyone. Today was September 3rd. September 3rd, 2025. It was a Wednesday. It was actually a really good day all around. So, woke up at 10 because I stayed up till 3 last night, and then read for about an hour. Speaking of 3 a.m., sleepy. Yeah, read from like 10 to like 11:30 or so. And then went downstairs, checked on the garden, and then edited the rest of August's video logs and set them to render. While they were rendering, I went and read my book in Ava's office, Ava's living room area, and she was watching whatever YouTube videos, and I was really pushing to finish Heretics of Dune. I love that book, dude. It was such a good read. I ended up finishing it today, so that was really cool. And then I was like, okay, it's 2 o'clock. Like, our checks are definitely gonna work. So I went and picked them up and went to cash them at the bank. And while we were there, we decided to close our individual accounts instead of a joint bank account. So that took 45 minutes or so. And then after that, Ava brought me home. I showered and trimmed up the beard, pretty clean. And then trimmed up the beard, and then she picked me back up, dropped me off at work, and then came back later. And then work was super boring. It was like, I think I had 3 tables all day and made probably $40-ish. But I got to work like just out of the shower, so my hair was in my hat for most of the day, which is always an interesting experience. Served some regulars that were really cool. There was a couple other like regular tables that didn't even fall on me, but I was chatting with them. They were pretty cool. And then had a few interesting moments towards the end. There was a table where like I always know what they get, and Tobie asked me to make hot mustard, so I went and like made hot mustard. And while they came in, so she was serving them, and she like called their order, and I was like, they didn't get it this way, and she was like, nope, they said it this, and I was like, okay, they wanted it that way. So once she served it, they had to go back and like change it up a little bit. But so I had made hot mustard, put it on the counter. As she went to go put it away, she spilled it in the walk-in fridge, which was so funny. So she comes out, and I'm doing whatever. I'm like cleaning up a teapot or something. And she looks at Anna, and in my mind, she's just crashing out because she got like hot mustard on her face. She's literally like sitting there like this, like stunned look, and she's got like hot mustard on her forehead. And she was like, no, dude, I'm actually going to crash out. I'm actually going to cry. And I was just like, bro, it's a little hot mustard. You're fine. And Ava was like, oh, and she was like, bro, I spilled it. And we were like, the hot mustard? And she was like, I like looked in the kitchen, there's like nothing there. So going to walk in, bro, she spilled. I mean, it wasn't like crazy. It was really just like it tipped a little bit while she was sitting on the thing. And so it like spilled off through the grates of the walk in like thing onto the condiments. So it was like hot mustard like on the ketchup bottles. Whatever. So she was like so sad about it. So we tell our boss, so we're like, yeah, we're gonna work on cleaning it up. So he helps us like clean it and stuff. And then she's so upset about it. It was so funny. No, I'm literally like, dude, spilling hot mustard is a rite of passage. Like, we've all done it. It just kind of happens. I feel like my hair is like absolutely vibing in the back today. Just, I love when hair does that, bro. But yeah, anyways, that was really funny. And then I swept him up, closed pretty early, and then Ava wanted McDonald's, so we ran through there. I got like a McChicken meal or whatever. Came home, we watched an episode of Weak Hero, and then afterwards I played some video games, and then went and watered the garden. Took the bins to the curb because tomorrow's trash day. Usually it's Wednesdays, but Labor Day weekend, whatever. And then I took some time to organize my clothes, and I think I uploaded 4 video logs. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Cinco. Wait. Yeah, 5 video logs. 5 video. I'm gonna write about 5. And then I can write a daily thought for this day. Daily thought about word pronunciations. That'll be an interesting one. So daily thought. All the goals for the day were to brush teeth, make a morning video log, didn't do that. Make recovery video logs for yesterday and Monday, did not do that. Shower, edit August video logs, wake up Ava at 11, which I did too, or 11:30. It was 11:30, and then trim my beard, clean our shower. I also cleaned the shower tonight. It was pretty cool. Takes 2 minutes, bro. I don't know why I don't do it more regularly. Finish the Heretics of Dune book. Bring the bins to the curb, and that was, yeah, I was making sure I didn't miss one. I got them all. So yeah, that was really really cool. It was a really good day. Finishing Heretics of Dune was so sick. So I might share a couple spoilers if you care. You can click off. The book's been out since like the 80s, bro. Whatever. So towards the end of the book, all the characters kind of unlock like special abilities. So Duncan Idaho is like the Gola. He was played by Jason Momoa in the movies. He keeps it getting reanimated. Like they bring him back as they call it a Gola. It's literally just like a manufactured human. Like it's manufactured like a clone almost. But the thing about the Golas is they can reawaken their original host body memories. Like the consciousness of the person who died is still alive in the Gola. The memories just have to be awakened, right? And so this Gola was special. This is like 10,000 years past Paul Muad'Dib. Like this is crazy in the future. This Gola was special that the Bene Gesserit were using in training because he awakened all the memories of all the Duncan Idahos. So the original Duncan was Paul's trainer, friend, loyal to the Atreides. And then Leto the second, Paul's son, reanimated. They never get the numbers consistent. They say hundreds of Duncans. Realistically, it was probably, you think 3,500 years. Each one lives 100 to 200 years. Anywhere from 15 to 30 Duncans, different Duncans. So this Duncan Gola, this new one, way in the future, retakes all the memories of all the Duncans. What? There's another character who's a Mentat war leader. Mentats are like computational, like pattern-seeking specialists, right? He's a war leader, great fighter, whatever, great commander, whatever. He ends up being tortured by this device that like works with the neurons in his brain and like controls his muscles or something, and he ends up like consciously taking control of it, and like so it's like torturous, like absolutely unfathomable amount of pain, all this stuff. It ends up awakening this like power in him to slow time. And what it reminded me of is if you've ever played Escaping the Prison, one of the options you can choose is like this energy drink thing, and time slows down, and you literally just like push the iron bars out of the way and like fold them out, walk out of the thing, and then you die of a heart attack, right? He ends up, like, the first time he does it, time slows, and he watches people blink, and he goes, it took them a minute to blink. And he like just like unwraps the ropes he's tied up and literally just like reaching to them, just like so strong. He stands up. By the time he goes and kills the first one of his like 3 captors, they've just started looking a little surprised. Then he kills the other one who like still hasn't interrupted his action. Like he was going to push a button, and then he goes and kills the girl who was there, and she literally had like instinctually, like think like ultra instinct, future reaction time, has like begun kicking the chair he was sitting in, and he kills her too. He ends up murdering an entire building of like, they're called honored matras, honored mathers. They are like super Bene Gesserit kind of, or it's weird. There's a lot of ways that they're superior to the Bene Gesserit and a lot of ways that they're weaker than the Bene Gesserit, but they are like physically very strong, very very cunning, very intelligent, whatever. And they exert a lot of control over their subjects in ways that I'm not going to get into. But he literally walks through and murders the whole building in super speed. Like, he literally just, like, murdering people, dude. He talks about how he literally, like, throws his hand and, like, chops through a dude's neck. And, like, it damages his hand because he swung so hard. Like, bro, like, I imagine, like, he, like, touches the wall and his hand just, like, shatters backwards. Like, absolutely mind-blisteringly fast. And he's, like, eating just tons of food to work with, like, the caloric deficit. Like, the Flash. The Grant Gustin Flash. trope. It was always in the trope. It was just like, the Speed Force exerts so much energy that you need so many calories. It's the same way. And dude, the book was so good. I'm so excited to read Chapter House. But that's not even the daily thought. Daily thought today was about banking in general. So we obviously went to get our joint bank account set up. Banking is so interesting, and I have a lot of thoughts to share about banking. So I obviously don't know how long banks have existed, and obviously the financial systems we use in modern America have changed dramatically over the last 300 years. Like what we had in 1725 and then brought in 1776, made in the early 1780s, worked through to the 1800s, and ended up like solidifying post World War II. Whatever we use today is so different than how it's always been, and it's like when you think about how much money is in circulation, like cash, that used to be all money. Like all money was in circulation, and now we're at a point where we are in, I call it like the digital infancy. Like we still don't fully understand what digital things are capable of. We are in digital infancy, the era of digital infancy, and our money is digital now. Like there's America's $36 trillion in debt, and there's $2 trillion of United States dollars in circulation. They could take every dollar in circulation and not pay off 5% of the US debt. How does that make sense? How does that make sense to me? Like, I don't understand that. I genuinely could not possibly understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But that is a byproduct of banking. And so there's two types of banking. There's central banking. Well, I'm sure there's more types of banking. But I think of central banking and commercial banks. So central banks are the ones who like control the currency. They are the ones who set interest rates that people are allowed to borrow from. They are the ones who like really look at the data and go, yeah, we can raise or lower interest rates, try to fight unemployment or inflation. Then there's commercial banks or credit unions as well. Banks are for profit, credit unions are non-profit. Each one has its pros and cons. Like each branch has its own pros and cons based on the employees there, obviously. But it's so interesting that banking has gotten to the point where it's like the money that's in circulation doesn't actually matter. Like the amount of money in circulation doesn't matter. It's how much they say you're owed. And it's how much like we all agree is owed. And it's like banks are such an interesting greasy cog in the capitalism machine. And I mean, not even more than just capitalists, but in any type of machine where it's like they are the ones who borrow money from the Federal Reserve, from the central bank, to lend to other people, and what they use to borrow like as leverage from the Federal Reserve are assets that are technically like owned or held in trust of ultra wealthy individuals. So what I see it as is like the more high net worth clients you have, the more safety you have as a bank. So if you have someone who's worth $500 million, one person, you can take their money, all the cash they have, you deposit it in the bank, and loan it out to people. And just basically go, yeah, we have this money to loan out. Like you can take that person's money and loan it out and make profit off that money. So you know you're going to be secure to pay them back that $500 million at any point. That's insane. That is insane. And at the same time you're doing that, you're offering them a $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 credit limit with 0% interest for life because the assets they have are tied up in your bank. Because that means those are your assets under your trust. So you can use them to leverage money to borrow to other people and make interest off of. That is such an interesting system. That is like, who the fuck thought of this? That is so ridiculously weird. Like, what? Why do banks need to exist? Why can't I just borrow directly from the Federal Reserve? Like, what? Wait, can I? Can consumers borrow from the Federal Reserve. Consumers cannot borrow directly from the Federal Reserve. Commercial banks can borrow from the Federal Reserve. Why? 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 That is so interesting. And I knew that was the truth. I just really wanted to make sure. That is so interesting. That regular people can't borrow from the Federal Reserve. It's like, I don't know. And it's like, okay, I explained it in my video. You don't understand how money works. Whatever. The Federal Reserve can't have 4,000 locations across America where people can go in and borrow money. But we live in the digital age now. Money is digital. We have $2 trillion in cash. Yes. The Federal Reserve in the future wouldn't need a bank to act as a middleman. You could just go online and directly borrow money from the Federal Reserve like a bank does. Like, you could just do that. And I'm wondering why no one's thought to do that yet. And I hope in the future that the kinks in that plan, because there's a lot of them, are really ironed out. Because commercial banking is so weird. And it's like there's a lot of shadow banks that pop up. What is it? PayPal is technically a shadow bank. Like Cash App is a shadow bank. Like unregulated banking entities pop up. Consumers could be their own shadow bank. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is so interesting that the system is built with banks at the core. It's like America is built with three things at the core: guns, banks, and law, like courthouses. Like the judicial system, the banking system, and gun distribution are like the three pillars holding up America. That is so, like, I say holding up, that it was built upon. That's like the foundation of America. And I don't know why. And I think I'm going to have to look a lot more into that. But it's really, really interesting, the system we grow up in. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that daily thought. I hope you enjoyed me yapping about the book and actually made it through to the daily thought. So, yeah, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.